Imagine having tools that work 24/7 to save you hours, boost your productivity, and scale your online business effortlessly. The truth, AI is evolving so fast that most online businesses don't even realize the tools they need are already out there. That means missed opportunities, wasted time, and really money left on the table. Now, in this video, I'm going to reveal some of the AI tools I use to automate time-consuming tasks, maximize my output, and just get more done in less time. Plus, I'll share some real-world examples of how to use these tools so you can transform your online business, even if you're brand new to AI. Let's dive right in. Alright, so the first AI software I want to dive into is something called Apify, and this is a web scraping platform that allows us to collect data on a large scale and do anything we want with that data. So they call them actors, so you can see they've got over 3,000 plus actors, and these actors can be TikTok data scraper, Google Maps extractor, Instagram scraper. You can even build your own if you want to obviously custom code it, website content crawler, Amazon scraper, the list really goes on. Now, this is an awesome platform, especially if you're looking to collect data and then obviously use that data to potentially create new reels or new TikToks or new long form. And again, it allows us to track kind of what's going on in the video space. And that's how I've used it for clients to help them kind of create more content from this. Now, there's so many different ways you can use it. Obviously, highly recommend using it ethically. You don't want to scrape data and then just copy things directly or sell that data. You've got to be obviously above board and make sure that you're doing everything right when it comes to using Apify. So in terms of the software, I'm just going to dive into kind of my account. And like I said, if you go to the store, you'll see here all the different actors, and you can see from social media, AI, lead generation, e-com, SEO, to real estate, to developer tools. There's so many different things to choose from. So wherever your online business is, you could come on here and see, is it even possible to potentially scrape this data? Now, when it comes to using Apify, the power is really in connecting it up to other softwares. And that's going to bring me to kind of my next software shortly that I want to talk to you about. But you can use it just directly in Apify. Now you can sign up to an account, it's free to sign up. I think you get $5 free credits when you sign up. And then you just find what you want to do. So let's say we're going to use TikTok scraper. I've already deployed this and used this because like I said, I've ran this for a client and set this whole system up for a client. But effectively, this is my account. So you can see here the pricing model is $5 per 1,000 videos. If I click on this, I can then see kind of the manual input. You can kind of see all the different variables that you can change. You can go through the information and what is the profile scraper. And obviously it kind of talks to you about everything that you need to know. And then you can obviously runs, integrations and things like that. But I'm going to go to input, I'm going to go to manual, and then I'm just going to use Alex Hormozi as an example. I'm sure we've all heard of Hormozi. And then you can say, well, what do I want it to do? I want to scrape videos. That's fine. Profile video sorting, so we'll go the latest, and then obviously you could do the amount of posts you want. For this example, I'm just going to do one, and you can filter it other ways as well. I'll click save and start, and then the system is just going to go out, it's going to deploy, it's going to go to Alex Hormozi's profile, and then obviously pull the data through and give us all of this information along the top. So it will take a few seconds to run, and this is just the manual way of doing it. So I also do want to show you kind of how I would connect this up to my second software that I'll show you in a second, and then obviously a third software which would build out the full tech stack. So you can see it's ran, it's pulled in, and then it's pulled in the latest video here. So you do get some data here, but you actually get more when you pull it through, so into like an automation software. So that's really kind of how to use it inside of Apify. Now, the next software which I use a lot in my online business, and it saves me a lot of time, and that is Make.com, and that's an automation software. If you haven't heard of it or haven't seen it before, it basically is similar to Zapier. It's just a lot more affordable, and I feel like it's more intuitive as well. It's a lot easier to create scenarios and create flows and branches. It also allows you to do error handling a lot easier. In case something breaks, you can kind of continue the flow. So I love Make. Zapier has probably more connections, but I'm sure Make is catching up. But a lot of the time when I'm looking to build out tech stacks and connect different softwares like Apify, I'll be using Make just because, yeah, it's super kind of intuitive and easy to use. So in terms of pricing, when it comes to Make, you're looking at, if we go monthly, kind of around $18 for it. Whereas if you compare kind of 10,000 operations on Zapier, it's gonna be a lot more expensive. Again, like I said at the start of this video, I wanna kind of show you real world examples. And like I mentioned, I built out the full tech stack for a client. And this is the tech stack. This is just me testing, as you can see here. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. This kind of gives away my third piece of software, which is Airtable. So if you haven't heard of Airtable, Airtable is like Google Sheets on steroids. You can create databases and pull data in and manipulate it how you want and filter it, which I'm going to dive into next. But for this example, I want to just show you how I've used Make. So here, what I've done is to set up the first connection, which is with Airtable, and then it will run the actor. So first of all, it runs the actor and then it updates the record. Next, what I've done is I've set up an automation where it's watching for that actor to run, it's searching that record, and then it's doing a router, and it's basically creating me a transcript of that video. So it's creating an SRT file. From there, it's then adding that SRT file back to the video and then updating the record. Finally, once we've got that, we can then recreate the video. So again, like I mentioned, we want to ethically use this. We're not directly copying videos. We're just using the examples that have gone viral to create our own versions of those videos. So what we'll do is then we'll use OpenAI to rewrite the script for us, and then we'll go into that script and we'll rewrite it and check it and put our own spin on it and obviously create our own version. So that's really how I've used Make, and I've directly built out a tech stack and a full kind of data scraping for a client. Now, there's so many different ways you can use it. If I dive into here and just go create new scenario, there's so many different pieces of software. Again, similar to Zapier, if you use Notion or Slack, or you want to onboard a client and want to create a full kind of automation process, if you're using Facebook ads, anything like that, any software, Pipedrive CRM, HubSpot CRM, there's so much you can do with it. And if you just search or use ChatGPT to understand how you could use Make to automate your online business, you'll find a way to do it with Make. Now, if this is a video that you want me to do and look at more ways to use it in your online business, drop a comment below and I'll be sure to create kind of more videos on Make and how to use Make in your online business. All right, so that's make.com. Next, like I mentioned, I've already given it away. I'm going to dive into Airtable. Like I said, if you haven't heard of Airtable, this is basically like digital databases, and you can really customize them. Again, Google Sheets have their place, spreadsheets have their place, they're great, but that allows you to kind of visually present data better, and you can also automate inside of it. You can filter really well. I just absolutely love it. It's great. There's so many different things you can do with it, from product operations, marketing, portfolio management. You can even create your own sales CRM. The kind of endless possibilities when it comes to Airtable, and a lot of time I use it to control data and bring data in to do other things with it. So I just show you an example of Airtable. Here, this was the viral scripts. Again, this is just a demo that I've created, and like you can see here, I would come in here, and this is what I've connected up to Apify, and then I've also connected up to Make. And when I put the username in and click run now, it goes out, collects those videos that I want. It brings through the cover, the media, the caption, likes, everything that I want, and including the SRT file here. And then finally, we can just click run script, and this creates the script. So this kind of ties those other apps together, and this is kind of the way that I've used Airtable for a client. So again, this is just one example, and there's so many other examples that you can use. This was just an AI tools database that I built out. Again, you can see here kind of all the different AI tools. These are all the tools that I've been looking at and researching and diving into, and then you can see kind of all of the different filters down the left hand side. So that's just another way of using it. Finally, like if you wanted to just dive into Airtable and build it with AI, this is awesome. So like you can literally come in here and say, I want client management, create me an app to manage client information, track progress, and schedule information. Now, the more information you give Airtable, like if you give it a better prompt, it's going to give you a better kind of solution and build out for you. But for this example, let's just click next, and let's just see what it does from using the example. So it's now generating our app, which is basically our Airtable database. You can see on the right hand side, it's starting to build this out. You could obviously give it a prompt that you want, like a scenario that you want to use it in your online business, and then it will build this out for you. So then it said, what do I like? How does this look? So you can see on the right hand side how it looks, and then we can see, okay, well, now I want to add payment records and feedback in, and then I could just click create this app or preview it, and it'll generate it again, and it'll create a preview, and then just launch this into my Airtable. So again, I don't think I've dived into pricing on Airtable yet, so we'll dive into that in a second. But I just want to show you kind of how this can look. So yeah, again, really nice. Like if you're trying to create this in like a Google Sheet, it would take you a lot of time to build out. So you could then just create this app and launch this into your Airtable and use this as an ongoing kind of client management and scheduling app. So in terms of pricing, let's just dive into the pricing. Again, super affordable. You can free version, unlimited basis, 1,000 records, up to 5 editors, and then build monthly is $24 for a team. So here you get kind of more records, more automations, and you can kind of automate things in the background. And that's one thing I didn't dive into is, like I said, there's more than just the kind of records. You can say go into here and you've got kind of automations where you can obviously create those automations and connect that up in the back end to say make again and do other things with it, which is out of the scope of this video just because this is like it'll be a full tutorial of how to build that out. But yeah, for $20, you can create your own custom databases, manipulate that data, filter, and just manage anything in your business a lot easier. By the way, if you're ready to explore how AI can transform your online business, I'm actually opening up some free spots to my AI business audit calls. It's a chance to discuss your specific goals and pinpoint opportunities to save you time, cut costs, and really accelerate growth in your online business. So the link's in the description below. Book your spot and I'll see you there. So the next AI software that I want to show you is something called replicate.com. I absolutely love this software and something that I use in my online business daily. And actually the video thumbnail that's created for this YouTube video was created here. So what is Replicate? So Replicate is basically allows creators, developers to run machine learning models without having to create kind of any of the underlying infrastructure. So it provides a really streamlined way to deploy and use AI models. Now, again, when you go to Replicate, you can sign up and then you can basically come and look for the suggested models. So we can click explore more and we can see all of these models that have already been created and people are running them. And you can just kind of come in, set yours up, add it to your Replicate account and use it. So an example of what I've been doing is, again, if I go into here, we've got this Ostris Flux Dev Laura trainer. So it's the Flux Dev 1. Effectively what I can do is select my model. I've already obviously created my model here. And then I'll choose a keyword and I'll add my name in. So I'd put like Dave. And then what I would do is I would get a load of images of myself. So like screenshots of myself and upload them to the system. I would create them all, name them all, and then zip the file and upload them. And then from there, I would leave really everything else the same and I would create the model. What it's going to do then is take all that information and really start creating that model to learn kind of what I look like. And then what I can do is come in and run this model, create a prompt, and really generate YouTube thumbnail photos of myself. So what's this doing? This is saving me kind of going into a studio, getting the lighting right, taking hundreds of photos of me in different scenarios. So again, you can use this on your YouTube thumbnails. There's loads of other models that you could use, or you could just use this to create different images of yourself. You can take these images and then also make them animated and things like that. So it's pretty cool. Again, when you're doing it, you have to be ethical with it. If you're trying to create it of yourself, absolutely fine, you've got permission. But if you're looking to create it of someone else, don't do this basically unless you get their permission. So again, we've got to use this ethically. So I want to show you an example. Now, I've already set this up. Again, if you wanted me to show you how to kind of set this model up, by all means, I'll shoot a video on this. Just drop a comment below and I'm happy to do this if it's something that you wanted me to show you how to do. The key with this really is the prompt. So I've trained the model, but now I want to give it a prompt. So what I've actually done inside of ChatGPT, I've created a project and then I've just added the instructions to the project and just really kind of asked it to kind of basically give me a better prompt. So I don't have to necessarily prompt it and write all this information out. So let's say I want to say me as a wizard. I'm going to put Dave as a wizard. What this is going to do is actually going to give me 3 different prompts. And you'll notice it always starts with my name. I've found with using Replicate and using this model, if you use your name first, the model actually produces better results. Whereas if it's in the middle of the text or the prompt, it kind of gets lost and doesn't work very well. So let's say we're going to use this first one. I'm going to copy that prompt over, go over to my model that I've trained, drop that in. You'll see that it kind of highlights the Dave because that's what I've trained the model to know what I want. So it knows that this is me and it's pulling those images, using those images to create the images of me. Next, I'm going to change this to 16:9. And then you can also change, I'd leave everything else the same. You can change the number of outputs, and this is maximum 1 to 4. So for this example, I'm going to say 3, and then I'm going to say output quality is 100, and then I'm going to run this model. Now, once you've trained the model, I think it costs like a couple of bucks, $2 or $3. And then once you run it, I think it's like 2 or 3, 5 cents maybe. It's not super expensive. And you'll see now that this model's running. It's using the prompt. It's using obviously what I've trained it on with my images that I've previously taken. And then it's going to create the images for me. Now, some of these images aren't always great, but here's one of me. This is pretty cool. Obviously can't really see me here. It doesn't look anything like me. And this one is pretty cool, but I don't love it. So I'm going to go back and see where it says the central focus. I'm going to use this one instead. And then I'm going to go back. I'm just going to take that out, change it, and then I'm going to run it again and see what it does. So again, with AI, it's not perfect. You have to obviously just tweak the prompts, play around with it, make sure, again, the prompt that you're using in the ChatGPT is optimized. And then obviously you've used good photos when training your model, because when you're training the model, you want to choose like different photos, different kind of angles, different lighting. So this is me old. I was quite kind of it's got my hair, it's obviously got a longer beard, it's also got my mole in there as well, so that's pretty cool. This is me side on, and this is me. So again, it's kind of pulled my jumper in as well. It's a similar jumper I'm wearing right now. So yeah, I mean, I would probably use some of these as if I was looking to do a wizard video, I would probably use one of these images. So yeah, that's Replicate. That's using this model. I will drop the kind of link to the model below. So if you want to set this up, you could obviously just click this, sign up to Replicate, and then obviously come into here and just build out this model. All right, moving on to the next AI software. And that's something that I use a lot as well. And it's called Recall. So it's called getrecall.ai. So basically it summarizes anything for you. So sometimes we'll see like a long YouTube video or a long podcast or a long PDF, and effectively what you can do is add it into this. Now, obviously with PDFs and things like that, you can use ChatGPT, but I just like how this pulls it out and gives me the information, and it allows me to kind of like take long videos and extract data and then just create notes on it. If I'm trying to like, if I've watched the video and then I also want to kind of have some notes on it as well, I can go through and just check that, you know, things are correct and I'm happy with what's in that video. So I'll dive into the software. This is just an example that I ran earlier. So I dropped one of my videos, how to generate free leads using Google and ChatGPT. And then you can just see it kind of gives you the introduction, steps to generate leads using ChatGPT. So it's condensed my video into kind of the sections, and then this is just a little bit more digestible, especially if you're watching me talk and I might be talking too fast, or you've got me on 2-speed or whatever. It's just gonna condense this for you. So I use this a lot just to condense down a lot of videos and take notes and go through and reread and create kind of my own file and knowledge base of kind of information. So that's Get Recall. I'm going to dive into the price as well. The pricing wise, you're looking at monthly, light, unlimited, 10 AI generated summaries, Recall Plus, $10 per month. So again, not super expensive. And if you are kind of watching a lot of videos, you want to summarize, might be a good option for you. And like I said, I use it a lot in my online business. All right, so next is something that isn't necessarily new and it's not a new feature, but I think it's underrated, and that is Fireflies.ai. So you may have already heard of this. There's definitely competitors out there. If you do kind of Google Meets, Zooms, any meetings, whether that's coaching calls, sales calls, webinars, anything like that, if you're not using kind of AI and Fireflies to kind of automatically take those notes, then you're missing a trick. So again, this isn't necessarily new, but it's something that I use in my business, and it just really helps because sometimes you'll be on like a Zoom and someone says something and you're like scribbling it down and then you miss the next thing. With Fireflies, you don't miss anything. The great thing about this is it also provides notes for you. It can provide notes to the kind of client. Let's say you're onboarding them, or for me, if I'm doing say like an AI audit, or I'm jumping on with someone and looking at how their business and how I can automate it, then it can take all those notes and then I can kind of digest those notes afterwards and then go back to them and speak to them about that. So yeah, it's really good. Like I said, it kind of transcribes and summarizes the meeting notes. You can easily invite, you can upload audio files to it as well. It's obviously using AI, it does kind of timestamps, and you can also bring this in and you could actually connect this up. When I showed you Make earlier on in this video, you could connect it to Make and send that to say your CRM, and obviously attach all those notes and keep everyone kind of in the loop. So if you had a team, let's say you had your team of coaches, you could send this data back into a CRM, whether that's like Go High Level or HubSpot or anything like that. And obviously you can connect them all up. So again, just lets you kind of collect that data. You can create tasks from it as well, so follow up. So it just keeps you organized, and yeah, I really like it. I've tested a lot of them, and Fireflies for me is the best. So again, if you look at the pricing, you're looking at $18 per seat. Again, not super expensive, and something that I absolutely love using, and it saves me time on calls and make sure I don't really miss anything on the calls. So this next one is a little bit more advanced. I'm not going to dive into everything in this kind of segment of the video, just because it would take me probably hours to dive into kind of Relevance AI and how to set it up and things like that. So I wanted to include it because it's going to be something and there's a buzzword around it that you're going to be hearing a lot more in 2025. And that is what we call AI agents, or creating kind of an AI workforce. So effectively what Relevance AI allows you to do, you can create tools in there, and there's templates for different tools that you can use inside, but you can also create AI agents, which is basically like an AI workforce. So if you hire like VAs, or you're using employees and things like that, and you're doing like mundane tasks and repetitive tasks, you can effectively create these tasks all inside of Relevance AI and then integrate them into your tech stack, so you can just speed up your processes. Let's look at some use cases. Here we've got kind of sales, so we can nurture prospects, integrate with your tech stack, book meetings 24/7, and personalize your outreach. You can see here a bit of a flow: receive a lead, does a bit of research, does some personal outreach, responds to objections, and then confirms and books the meeting. Then we've got kind of support, kind of scenarios, research scenarios, and marketing and operations. So we can really just put any processes that we use, we can kind of automate them. There's no coding required. And like I said, we can integrate it into our tech stack and kind of really build out our processes really in Relevance AI to kind of keep it all together. Now, there is templates that we can use. Again, we can dive in and we can use templates that have already been built and then integrate those tools. So it's a lot easier to use, whereas before we'd have to kind of figure out the automation and then build it, maybe in Make, and then kind of figure out how to connect it all. But with Relevance, we can kind of pull it all together and have it all in one place. So I absolutely love Relevance AI. It's a super awesome tool, and they're kind of building on it every day. So definitely check it out. In terms of pricing, if you look at pricing, you can see here we've got the free plan and then the pro plan, $19 a month. So again, all of these software is super affordable and can really just help you boost your online business. So again, like I said, this could replace a lot of employees or a lot of tasks. Again, it's going to take time to build it out, and you're probably going to want to look for help with this, or a dev to help you with this, because if you're busy coaching, kind of doing onboarding or doing sales, this could take time to build out. All right, so moving on to the next two and the final two in this video, and I've included these because they're in my tech stack, and these are what I use day to day in my business. They're not probably necessarily new and exciting and different things like that, but they're kind of core, and they use AI as well. So the first one, you will heard it, Go High Level, just in a demo account right here. But again, this is kind of at the core of my tech stack and what I use. Again, there's so many features in Go High Level that you can use, from calendars to contacts to funnels to sites to membership sites. There's a lot. But in terms of the AI features, you've got automation, so you can automate inside of the workflows, and you can kind of connect that to, say, OpenAI. So if you wanted to do any kind of manipulation of data or change things or create some responses, you can use OpenAI in here. You've also got conversation AI. It's not great in terms of how connecting it up and things like that. You've got conversation AI, and you can create AI bots as well. And then you've got voice agents. So if you're looking and you want to add, say, a voice agent, so where people call you and you want to collect data, you can use voice agents in here. And they're adding a lot more features as well. So you can build funnels with AI, you can build websites with AI in Go High Level. So I'm not going to talk too much about it. You probably have using it or have heard of it, but I think it's one of the best all-in-one solutions if you're running an online business and you need a lot of different features from, like I said, funnels to membership sites to conversations to emails and things like that. Moving on to the final one, and it wouldn't be an AI video without talking about ChatGPT, but I want to kind of dive into, say, how I use it. Again, when I first started using ChatGPT, it was a novelty. I didn't really use it for anything practical, but now I use it every day. Like, I literally have it open and I'm firing things in. So I'm going to dive into ChatGPT and kind of show you how I use it. So you saw earlier that I've created projects. I think this is a new feature that's been added. So you can obviously create your own GPTs, and you can also also like go into GPTs, but projects is now where you can click on the project and then you can give it instructions, and then obviously you can have the different prompts. And I was using this for Replicate to create YouTube thumbnails for my YouTube channel. So again, you can now kind of isolate prompts and isolate projects, and obviously ask ChatGPT to do certain instructions with your prompts. So that's kind of a new feature, and that's what I've been using as well to kind of create those AI image generated prompts. Obviously, we've got GPTs. If you need to get a specific GPT, someone's created it. We've got top picks here like Python for coding, designer GPT, image generators. There's also, you can integrate it with like Canva and things like that. These are all things you've probably seen. And again, I do have custom GPTs that I've created that I just want to isolate and use my own kind of workings and day-to-day workings. Now, in terms of how I use ChatGPT on a daily basis, a feature that I use a lot is search the web. So instead of going to Google, I'll turn this on and search the web. And then let's say, well, I've shot this video on the 25th. I'm actually Scottish. I was born in Glasgow. It's Burns Night. So if I type in Burns Night, it's searching the web for Burns Night and it's pulling in the information directly for Burns Nights, where I'm located in Manchester, and giving me information from the web that's up to date. Whereas if you didn't click search, it's going to tell you about Burns Night. And this is actually pulling in like key information about, okay, well, what's on tonight? Is there anything on for Burns Night? Which is pretty cool. So I use that a lot of the time. I don't really use Google because ChatGPT can go out and find that information quicker, and I don't have to click links, just pulling the most relevant, up-to-date information from the web. I also use like image to text a lot. So I'll upload images. Let's say I've screenshotted something on a video, or I've screenshotted something on my phone where I can't copy that text. I'll upload the image and then I'll say, can you write this into text for me? And then I'll use that text to do something else with it. So that's helped me a lot. I don't have to like type things out. Another thing is like error handling and code. Like I don't write code, I can read code, but when I'm coming to like look at code and I'm trying to understand errors or something that I don't quite understand, I'll add it into ChatGPT to tell me kind of what's going on. Like, can I tweak something? How do I do this? How do I do that? It's really good for coding, so that's something that you could potentially do, especially if you're building out a funnel and you want to add like a specific element. Say it's on Go High Level, you want to tweak something, you could use ChatGPT and obviously update that. Next, obviously summarizing. You can obviously summarize text. So I've recently given it a contract and gone through that contract to see if there's any onerous kind of terms in there, and something that, and give me kind of ways of how a potential client could get out of that contract. Analyze data and format data into tables. I always take like raw data, so I've copied it, throw it into ChatGPT, and get it to really format that data and put it into, you know, obviously a nice formatted table or bullet points or anything like that. So there's some of the ways I use it. Again, I also use it in the back end with OpenAI and using their API key. I use it in make.com, so I'll pull in their API. This is a little bit more advanced, but again, we're using it in automation, and also I'm using it day to day to kind of handle certain kind of scenarios in my online business. Another thing, I have it on my phone, I have it as a shortcut. A lot of the time I will use the voice mode. So I might be driving and I've got an idea or a question. I'll just open it up on my phone and I'll talk to it. I'll have a direct conversation with it. This is something that, again, in 2025, we're going to see a lot more of, people using their voice to generate kind of conversations with ChatGPT and get the information that they need. So there are a few of the ways I use it. If you're ready to save time, boost productivity, and grow your online business, these AI tools I've shared today are the perfect starting point. But here's the thing, automating your tasks is only one part of the equation. You also need a consistent flow of clients to scale effortlessly. That's why in my next video, which I'll have linked up here, I'll show you how to combine AI with Google to create a lead generating machine for your business, completely free of ad spend. Imagine leads flowing in while you focus on growth and impact. Be sure to check it out, and I'll see you in the next video.